I'm Pippa Chabalala and welcome to Glitched. We have a very special local themed episode today. We chatted to MWEB's Derek Kaler about the M Cave in Cape Town and MWEB's dedication to gaming in South Africa. We were also fortunate enough to grab a quick tour of the MWEB data center and even got some exclusive access to the server room where some of our local gaming servers are stored under lock and key. We also have our review of locally developed couch co-op top-down shooter by Rogue Code Studios, VALA on Xbox One and Windows. Finally, as E3 kicks off in the States and gamers gorge on the latest announcements, we take a look back at the games that were announced at E3 in the past but never made it to release. That's right, they were cancelled. Let's jump right in.
Hey, what is up everybody? My name is Nick Holden and we're at a very special place here in Cape Town today. We're outside the MWEB Game Zone offices and we're going to be taking a look at everything that this place has to offer, whether you're a staff worker or just coming in for one of the events. And if we take a look at the history, it's quite the cornerstone of Western Cape gaming in a lot of ways, because we've had launch events, we've had online tournaments that lead into bigger activations right here, and we're going to be talking about exactly why this place is so important with Derek Kaler. We're going to be going to a very top secret location. We're going downstairs to the server room and we actually had to get cards printed out before the time to get there, so we're going to give you a first person look of where you actually connect to 150 plus games in South Africa. But without further ado, how about we jump in and take a look.
Welcome to MWEB Gaming. My name is Derek Kaler. I'm the product manager for MWEB Games, and you're at the MWEB M Cave. Gaming is important for a number of reasons. Firstly, gamers require the internet to download the games, to play the games online, and we understand that their needs are different to a normal home user that just wants to stream, for example. So streaming requirements are not as crazy or not as demanding as gaming. Even though it's lower traffic, there's latency, so we want to make sure that our gamers have the best experience possible on our network, and if they're not gaming on our network, the best experience they have internationally, and in that way we can ensure that when they connect to the internet, they get their best gaming experience ever. So, like I said, with regards to the best experience possible, is that if a game is available and can be played in South Africa, then we want to make sure they're on our network. That way they play on an even playing field with other South Africans as well. And if it's not on our network, then what we will do is we'll ensure that gamers can play with the least amount of latencies. Look, from our perspective, gamers and gaming is part of almost every household. Gaming has become such a big focus for families, and it become the hub of entertainment, that we want to make sure that from a holistic experience, our customers and our gaming customers are sorted. So we make sure that we can offer products that are suited to gamers, and also we make sure that when they're on our network, they get the best experience as a gamer. So we would want to make sure our staff enjoys gaming and both our customers as well at the same time. Yeah, because at the end of the day they get to play games when on their break. I think, you know, when I get home, I like to relax and actually just play games, whether it's as frustrating as Dark Souls or not. It's a stress reliever. So I think to get away from work is probably the best thing ever. So we ensure that we not only provide the servers, but we also provide support for our customers. So we have dedicated gaming support, because we find that gamers don't necessarily speak the same language or don't have the same issues as other connectivity customers. So we make sure that we have a gamer that understands gaming supporting gamers. And also, if our customers can't experience the best experience on our network, then we prioritize the traffic to customers so that wherever they go internationally, they have the best and fastest route possible. So besides the stuff that we're doing currently and what we've done in the past, we're going to be focusing a lot more on supporting organizers and admins for gaming tournaments. Also with regards to events, we're going to be focusing on providing connectivity to these events. So last year we did Rage and we had an 8 gig line at Rage. We'll be doing the same this year. and supporting more other events and more announcements on that on our Game Zone page. Yeah, so Glitch was born actually in the room just behind us here. I was an avid viewer of a program called Wuzu, which had Pippa in it, and it actually inspired me to look at the show, and I actually thought the show was well ahead of its time, but there were elements in the show that I would like to have changed if I had the chance to create a new show. So I spoke to a few people and I said, look, this is the concept I have. I think Pippa was key to it, our editor Marco was keen, and we just got everybody together, and for some reason everything just clicked. Everybody was ready at the right time, so we decided to just do it. Just want to say thank you for all the support to all our gamers, all our viewers that watched Glitched for all this time and have been at our events and have been readers of our website, and for all the new ones that have come on board. Thank you for all the support.
After all was said and done upstairs, we went down into the heart of MWEB, the server room. Gaining access into the MWEB server room was no easy task, but after jumping through a few security hoops, we got greenlit to find our way inside. One of the first things that you notice as you step into the MWEB server room is exactly how cold it gets. This is done to keep the servers running at optimal performance. In order to keep this room cooled down, MWEB rely on 9 V-cooler systems that are located outside the MWEB server room. Each one of these liquid cooling systems costs around about 200 Rand per hour to run. We'll leave you to do the math on exactly how much that racks up on MWEB's bill. Back inside, I was getting lost between the sheer scale of the server room inside. Not only was the sheer scale of this operation impressive, but so was this power supply behind every single server operating in the venue. Dual generator feeds ran into the venue, with each generator fueling an uninterruptible power supply which ran in the buzz bars located at the top of each server row. The buzz bars, indicated by blue and purple, ran through all the way to each server rack. Thanks to this independent connection, it meant that if one of the connections actually died, that the server would still stay up no matter what. Another security feature which was equally as impressive was the gas lines running above each one of the servers. However, this gas would eliminate any oxygen in the room, meaning that if there was any fire to break out, those would be triggered and essentially oxygen would be removed from the room. Lucky for us, we had a real-life simulation of if that ever had to happen, thanks to Terminator 2.
Wait! You can't go in there! The fire set off the halon system! Wait a few minutes until the gas clears.
Put this on.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to take a peek at what it takes to run some of the best servers in South Africa when it comes down to playing and competing online.
VALA is a top-down twin-stick shooter developed in South Africa. It has a ridiculous premise and a hilarious sense of humor. The website proclaims the game to be the world's best mass llama slaughter roguelike light-ish couch co-op top-down twin-stick shooter. To be fair, it's not wrong, as we're sure there's no other game that can check all those boxes. But before we get into the gameplay, let's start at the beginning. Developed and published locally in South Africa by Rogue Code, Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse, or VALA for short, is an Xbox Play Anywhere title, which means if you buy the reasonably priced game on Xbox One, then you'll be able to play it on Windows as well. The game is also available on Steam if you prefer. VALA's charm is simple enough. It begins with a ridiculous premise that sets the tone for the experience. Although be warned, humor is subjective and the puns aren't for everyone. Bit of socio-political satires of capitalist culture, absurdism, and defending the world against an apocalyptic attack from angry hordes of bloodthirsty llamas calling themselves the Laminati is your kind of thing, then you're in for plenty of laughs. I'm not sure if that explains anything, but without giving away too much, just take a look.
In a world where the calendar read February 26, 2015, the unthinkable happened.
2 llamas have escaped from the Lamazon Corporation and are running wild in Santa Llama City. We have confirmed reports of at least 6 people dead and a further 24 in critical condition. I'm receiving word that Lamazon have deployed a remotely operated nuclear-assisted llama destroyer to neutralize the threat.
3 years later, the unthinkable happened again.
We are the Laminati. Lamazon, we are coming for you.
As for the gameplay, here's what you can expect. At its base, VALA is a frantic bullet hell shooter where you remotely pilot a walking tank or mech, armed with 2 weapons that can be individually switched out for other more powerful guns. These weapons spawn as drops in the world, and since you can arm yourself with 2 different guns at the same time, it makes for some awesome combinations. Just don't use fire and ice weapons at the same time, as your efforts will be rendered pretty much useless, and you'll be overrun by these disgruntled beasts. Your mech has a health bar that does not regenerate. Seriously, like ever. And there's no health pickups, but it's okay, as the point of the game is to do as well as you can, and then relaunch again with more unlocks at your disposal. You'll also have an energy bar that you can refuel with power cells dropped by dead llamas. This energy allows you to pull off charge attacks, such as engaging your shield to escape those touch-and-go moments, do a dash to either run away or smash into enemies and clear a line of attackers, and our personal favorite, the jump slam, to rain down some carnage on an area. There are a number of challenges to complete throughout the game as well, as those give you extra unlocks. These challenges range from smashing 10 llamas with a dash attack, or discovering and usually destroying something in the world. The game has a beautiful grunge design feel, and the city looks pretty realistic. While the mechs look great and the gore factor is pleasing, it's no easy feat, and it will test your skills constantly. But hang in there, and although it's hauntingly overwhelming at the beginning, we promise you'll get the hang of it, and before you know it, you'll feel like a champ. Until of course you don't. But don't worry, call in your friends. Seriously, the couch co-op aspect of this is where the game shines. Combining your efforts as well as weapon combinations make for a great experience when your buddies are visiting and just want to play something. The Xbox Play Anywhere feature means you can play on the console while a friend is on their PC. The Xbox One X enhancements deliver a smooth game on the souped-up Xbox console. Every playthrough is unique. The endless modes offer, well, endless combat. And its drop-in and drop-out gameplay makes for something anyone can pick up and play at any time. There are some downfalls to the game. We would have loved to see a greater variety of enemies. Make no mistake, there are a number of enemy types, but amidst the chaos, it can be hard to tell the difference, and it didn't feel like there was much of a variation on how we had to attack. Although the weapons are awesome, especially the homage to Konami's classic game Contra, we would love to see greater customization in this and the ability to select a loadout before spawning. All that said, for the price, it's terrific value for money, and the fact that it's one of those titles you and your friends can keep coming back to in order to continue unlocking bigger and better gear. We hope Rogue Code bring even more content and perhaps even game modes to the title as we look forward to our next couch session with friends. Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse gets a mixed review or indecisive 6.5 out of 10 from us.
Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse. You're the world's only hope. Seriously, who writes this
If you're like us, you're probably still playing some of the great games that have recently released this year, or you're looking at the E3 2018 announcements to plan your gaming budget for the future. E3 has everyone waiting with anticipation every year, but we decided to take a look back at some of the past announcements that had us excited, but unfortunately have since been cancelled.
Let me tell you a story of a world of great beauty. full of promise.
Here are our top picks for titles that have sadly made this list. At number 5, we have Fez 2. The original Fez is a legendary indie title created by visionary developer Polytron. The game featured style in spades and equally inspired platforming, garnering enough attention that a sequel would be quick to follow. And in 2013, Fez 2 was announced to much fanfare. Only 1 month later, however, the game was cancelled by Polytron founder Phil Fish. The reasoning was as unique as the property itself when Mr. Fish got into a Twitter row with a gaming journalist and promptly ceased all development. Hope springs eternal that Fez 2 will still see the light of day one of these days, but for now, Fez 2 is #dead. At number 4, Fable Legends. The Fable series is revered among many an Xbox aficionado for its setting, lore, and unique sense of humor. So much so that fans were chomping at the bit for any announcement of Fable 4. What they got instead was Fable Legends, a free-to-play multiplayer title set in Albion at E3 2015. The title looked promising, with teams of 4 players questing together with other teams working against them. Suffice it to say, even those who expected a more familiar experience were quickly on board with what would have been Xbox's answer to World of Warcraft. However, with rumors circulating that the dev team would have preferred to work on a sequel rather than a spin-off, and the once revered Peter Molyneux losing the faith of the gaming community, Microsoft suddenly cancelled the game after spending nearly R1 billion in development. Lionhead Studios promptly shut its doors weeks later, and Xbox lost another console-selling property.
The nature of heroes. Hungry for what they don't have. Obsessed with their legends. But this is not their story. And I will end their little fairy tale.
At number 3 is Scalebound. Scalebound was a brand new IP from stylized action game veteran developers Platinum Games. With titles like Bayonetta, Vanquish, and Nier Automata under their belt, this cancellation is still considered a massive disappointment to fans. It was set to be an action RPG with multiplayer options where you assume the role of Drew, a half-dragon hero, with a plethora of weapon types at his disposal to take down massive enemies. You would be aided by his giant dragon companion Thuban, whom you would be able to command in battle. Unfortunately, through a number of reported issues between developers and publishers Microsoft Studios, fans would have to say goodbye to their hopes of this graphical beauty as it was cancelled in January of 2017. Star Wars 1313. Star Wars 1313 was set to have players assume the role of a younger Boba Fett, the infamous bounty hunter from the original film trilogy. It would follow his adventures in the deep underground area of the planet Coruscant, known as 1313. Yet another wretched hive of scum and villainy. The game would be a more gritty and mature action-adventure similar to Naughty Dog's Uncharted series, and instead of force and lightsaber-based combat, we would be engaged in fast-paced gun battles with a focus on gadgets and tools used exclusively by bounty hunters in the lore. In 2013, the Walt Disney Company announced that it had ceased internal development of all LucasArts projects, including Star Wars 1313. It has been reported that since LucasArts now operates as a licensing company to third-party developers, the project could be issued to another developer, but as far as we know, the game has been permanently shelved.
guess what? I will be coming back, and I'm bringing my new toys with me.
And number 1 could be no other than Silent Hills. Once the next installment in a revered series helmed by one of the industry's most iconic developers, Hideo Kojima's Silent Hills was set to do for the horror genre what Metal Gear Solid had done for action in the 90s. Furthermore, it was set to feature the directorial talents of Guillermo del Toro and star The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus as its main character. Revealed at the end of the legendary teaser demo PT on PS4, by April 2016 the game was effectively cancelled amidst rumors that Kojima had resigned due to maltreatment during the making of Metal Gear Solid 5. A few months later, Silent Hills was dead. Kojima Productions was an independent developer, and the entire saga saw Konami's stock plummet in the eyes of gamers everywhere. Today, the select few who downloaded PT can still enjoy the only available iteration of Silent Hills available anywhere, provided they don't do the unthinkable and delete it. There are even a few PS4s with the demo installed floating around at inflated prices on eBay. Thankfully, even if you don't have PT, the excellent Resident Evil 7 ironically carries plenty of the Silent Hills DNA. Whilst those anticipating the possibilities of the Del Toro, Daryl and Kojima team can still look forward to the extremely cryptic and ambitious Death Stranding coming to PlayStation. Such a shame. We would have loved to have played some of those games, especially Silent Hills. That's all from us. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media and of course subscribe for more. See you again next time.